I don't know whether you can hear me properly with my masks on.
Yes, teacher, we can.
You can, eh? Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Good morning, Hjt. Simple.
You answer, we are coming from Horizon Geography. 7 days. You answer very well so that I know you exist and you are now in AC4, just listening and writing down things properly. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good morning once again.
Good morning, Hjt. Simple.
Good morning.
Here that it's one person. If we review what we had last time, I told you, I gave you an assignment of drawing a proper map of Africa, a proper one. You draw, but you don't trace. But what I expect you to have is a proper map, not a butterfly wing, something like that, not Lake Victoria. Some of you have Lake Victoria instead of the map of Africa. So you check and you see. It is for your own good if you are to understand the geography of Africa. Whenever you look at a relief feature or whenever you look at a country, what you have to know is that if you are to understand it properly, know the exact map. You are not a cartographer as yet, but try to have a map. And when they tell you to draw a map, those papers you have, all those whatever, the book you have, which is a long one, the standard books for Navisusa Girls School are not short. Make sure that your map or your whatever you do in geography, it covers a whole page. Don't put 2 maps on 1 page. Do you understand? Do you understand? Yes, draw a big map. You were not supposed to trace, but the one you have, when you had an atlas there, it must be better than the one you drew the other time. Because when I was checking, I saw some butterflies, some what, others were like trees, and that is a map of Africa. And then if we look at for our work for today, we are looking at the physical geography. If you are in senior 3, 3rd term, going to senior 4, you must know those terms. You must know those terms. When you are dealing with a map, normally you have to look at the location first, the location of that map. And after that, you must know, after knowing the location, you must know the physical geography. The physical geography of that area. In that order, even if you are reading talking about Asia, you are talking about Switzerland, you must know where it is located. There you take the continent. You must know its physical geography. All of the all of the maps you draw, all of the areas you study. And then from there, since you are dealing with geography, you know physical sometimes is called relief. When they say you draw the relief map of Africa, they are talking about the physical. And it is the one we are going to look at because we finished the location. And then from there, you have to know the drainage first. Drainage, you know what is included in drainage. You must know the drainage. Here, whenever they talk about physical, you know, you have hills and mountains and so on. The minute they talk about this one, you know, anything to do with the water within that map. And then you will go to climate. You will go to climate. And then from there, you will be able to know the human geography. I'm sure you are saying properly. You have to know the human geography. It does not mean that when you cover these ones for Africa, that you have completed the syllabus. After knowing all of this, they are going to pick for you specific areas of study. And when they pick a specific area of study, they will first pass through these ones very briefly, and they will mainly deal with the human geography. You understand? It is not memorizing, but that is what it has to be, and it has to flow. So right now, we are looking at the what? The physical geography of Africa. But when we talk about the physical geography of Africa, we know that this is paper 2, but sometimes we will refer to East Africa, just for some features which do exist, and it must be only one, that is the East African Rift Valley. But the examples we will mention will not be in East Africa. We look at the Rift Valley extending downwards and upwards from the northern Sudan going, from South Sudan going up. That is the rest of Africa. And then from Lake Malawi downwards, because it extends down. So that is the whole thing known as the East African Rift Valley. So you have this format in your books, you have written them down. For each area you cover in geography, you must have this order. So let us look at the physical geography of Africa. And when you look at the physical geography of Africa, we know categories of things which you are supposed to look at. You are not supposed to look at each and every thing under physical. You must know what is included in physical. When you look at the country itself, you must know the shape, or at least the shape. You must know the shape. You can't talk about physical geography of Uganda when you don't know the shape of Uganda or the map of Uganda. So you must know the map of Uganda. And under the physical, you have terms. You have Roman 1, 2, Roman 1. You have highland areas. That one is automatic. The highland areas. There is no country or there is no area which is flat throughout. You can't talk about a country and you find that it is a flat land area throughout or a region. It is not there. So you look at the highlands. Then number 2, you look at the lowlands within that area. And sometimes the third one, you will find for Africa, we have the plateau, T-A-U. Many are X with the X at the end. Those are very many, the plateaus. These are very many, in case they are there. And when you look at Africa itself, you will find that it is there. You understand? So we look at the highlands, you look at the lowlands, and you look at the plateau if it is there. If it is not there, don't force it there. So we start with the highland areas. In Africa, we are dealing with the whole of Africa. And when they talk about highlands, there you will have mountains. Here you have mountains. We will have hills if they are there. We will have slopes. Slopes also are part of highlands. There are some highlands which have very steep slopes, which are very high up there. And when we look at, we can put ETC here. When we look at the highlands in Africa, check and see, we are looking at our map, the one we drew. Later on, we will provide you, when you come back, we will provide you with the different maps. That of location, that one of relief, that one of drainage, that one of whatever, and then we will go to the regions which we will study next time, inshallah. Now, when we look at the highland areas, we start with the mountains. That is what we start with. These ones you have. You are writing down a few things, That one you have in your books. So amongst the mountains are the major mountains. Is it written like this, people?
Yes.
I have only two.
Yes.
Yes. And if now we are visiting our map, amongst those highland mountains, we have Atlas Mountain. Do you know where it is located?
Yes, Hajat.
Okay. Where is it located?
In Morocco.
In Morocco. That is which, you know, we are dealing with the Africa in general. Is it East Africa, West Africa, South Africa? What?
North Africa.
North Africa, good. So we find Mount Atlas Mountain. Let me draw my last one. The other time you told me that I don't know how to draw the map of this very visible. I tried. I'm not a cartographer, but I can try and draw. God and help me to draw. You also believe in your own body. Or you are pagans. These ones I have drawn them like parallel lines, but they are not parallel lines. You imagine that they are like that, but they are not parallel lines. This one is for revision. You will get ours, but you can put in yours. It's too wide down here. So we are saying that the Atlas Mountains are located somewhere here. So these mountains, we said you must know how they were formed. That is the only thing. These mountains and the Drakensberg Mountain, we are not going to look at one because they were formed in the same way. So we have the Drakensberg Mountains. Have you seen them? We said we come with what? So the Drakensberg Mountains are here. So the Atlas Mountains are there. The Atlas Mountains are there. Both were formed as a result of folding. As a result of folding. That is the process for the formation of the Atlas Mountain and the Drakensberg Mountain. It is the southern part of Africa, or in South Africa. These ones and these ones are the major ones. Do you understand? They were formed. What is folding? Folding is a process which is taking place within the Earth's interior. They are forces which are moving billions of tons of rocks on top of the Earth. They are inside. And remember we said that they are the ones which were responsible for the cracking of the one big supercontinent we have in the beginning. And we said this is not a biblical word, that in the beginning there was one land here and water, then it broken into all that. That this one is geographical. Those layers, the layers, we say that layers, we have layers within from the surface. If you imagine that this is the surface, there are different layers made up of different rocks. You can see. And these ones are subjected to convective currents which are moving within the Earth's interior. They are there. We can't feel them, but they are taking place. It is not like maybe a class, like a block, so that we can feel them. Sometimes when they are too much, we take it to be, what is that one you can feel at night when you are sleeping, and some of you hear at night?
Earthquakes.
Musisi,
Earthquakes.
Yes, that one. We can feel it on the surface, but they are taking place down. And during the formation of those hills, it took place long time ago, but it does not mean that it stopped. They are still moving. So you find that these convective currents, they are called currents. I don't know which term I can use, but they are currents. They are currents. They are moving within. Like when we talk about current, you call it electricity. We can't see it doing what? Taking place, but it is there. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes.
So when they are moving, they keep on pushing whatever is on top. These things are taking place within the Earth's interior, but they affect the rocks which are overlying them. These ones. So when they are moving, they push them. They push them in one direction. And once they are pushing up from that side, you may find that they are those ones. They are not astray, but they are there also. They are pushing. In the end, you will find that something which was like this, now it is with the ups and the downs. Let us do another one, number 2. The layers remain the same. These ones are moving up. When they are moving up, they push this side. They are pushing it up. So when they move and push this one up, this one becomes a what?
An anticline.
Anticline. That one becomes an anticline. Then the one which is down is a syncline. What is the spelling?
N C L
C-L-I-N-E. There's no E after C.
There is no E. L I N E S.
Syncline. So you are there. So you find that this one went down, this one was pushed up. So the one which was an anticline resulted into the formation of a very highland area. But it is not one. Don't think that it is one. Even from other side, they are pushing it further up. You get? They are pushing it further up. This one becomes an anticline, and this is the mountain. This is the mountain. This one, the anticline. This syncline here, can put the whatever down here. It's not in order to write it inside the diagram. Keep them layers. This one, it becomes a basin this one becomes a basin. The one which goes up is the mountain, then the other one is a basin or a lowland area, which is very wide, a basin. It is not a basin of water, but a basin of a piece of land which is at a lower level as compared to the others, through the process of folding, whereby the rocks were pushed horizontally by convective currents. And those ones led to the formation of the Atlas and the Drakensberg Mountain. And you will find that also somewhere, somehow, when we are talking about the Ethiopian Highlands, here, we will almost talk about the same, but it will be slightly different. So these are the major landforms which are resulting from those processes. Then, after the mountains, we have other mountains. These are mountains. We said we deal with the mountains. These ones are formed as a result of folding. Now, we have the Ahaga here. We have another mountain. These are many. They are very wide. These ones, you can see they are long. And they have depressions, which are basins. Then we have Ahaga also here. Ahaga there. There is also Mount Ahaga or Highlands, which are in Africa. Those two are in North Africa. This one is in South Africa, but we are moving slowly. So we have those ones, the Ahaga, and we have T-base, also here. When you check on the map, when you are studying this geography, the first part, you are supposed to have an atlas, even the second part, but you will be given the sectorial or the patches of those maps separately from the map of Africa. But now we are dealing with it generally. So we have these Ahaga mountains. Check and see. They are there. Then we have Tibet Highlands. Amen. Highlands. We have Ethiopian Highlands. Where are they? We have our map here with this cartel. They are there maybe. These are the Ethiopian Highlands. Ethiopian Highlands. Then we have this one. Where are the Adamawa Mountains?
Where is Adamawa Highlands?
Here. In Cameroon.
Yeah, in Cameroon.
Yes, Cameroon.
Cameroon is there, Tibet is there, Ahaga is here, Atlas are those ones, these ones are. Yes. So when we go to another set, we have the volcanic mountains. Do you have any volcanic mountain you know in Africa?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, Hajat.
Which one?
Mount
Which is outside East Africa? So you didn't do some work. People, you didn't do some work when you were given this work. And we give you a whole week, at least to get one day and pass through these things.
Mount Kilimanjaro.
Mount Kilimanjaro is in East Africa, but if you want, we can put it there. But when you are answering
Drakensberg Mountains.
you have Mount Kilimanjaro there.
Mountain Cameroon.
Mount Cameroon is here. Any other?
Mountain God.
These ones are there, rest of Africa. We have put East Africa somewhere here, but we have included Mount Kilimanjaro. And it is the one which you are going to use to find out how you have to check and see just plateau somewhere. These ones were supposed to find, because it might be the easiest number, that look at the map, using the map of East Africa, show how the major features were formed. You find that some of these ones were formed as a result of wind erosion. Especially these ones in here. These ones were formed as a result of wind erosion. Wind eroded all the top layer and then left behind those uplands, which have a marked effect on the relief of Africa. You remember the processes of people of mountain formation? You remember we said that under mountain formation, we have faulting. You have faulting. There you have faulting, and you know what faulting resulted into as far as the reef is concerned. In East Africa, it is the one responsible for the formation of the second highest mountain in Africa. And that is non-volcanic, second largest, highest mountain, which is non-volcanic, and that is Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Rwenzori. It is a result of faulting, and we discussed these processes before we dealt with East Africa. Now they are coming to help us to know how these other features were formed. They are those ones which are a result of faulting, and they are mainly known as block mountains. The highest is in East Africa. The highest is in East Africa. But also, these ones were formed as a result of faulting. So you will find that when we come down about faulting, they combined the Ethiopian Highlands, combined both faulting and volcanicity. They are saying that initially this Ethiopian Highlands was formed under volcanicity, but this process didn't reach the surface. It remained as an intrusive feature, as a dome. If you still remember we talked about the dome. Not domain, but the dome. We talked about this. Those are features which remain within the Earth's interior. And remember we said that they are formed from acidic lava, whatever, content. You understand? They are formed from acidic lava. So these Ethiopian highlands, when you look at them, they are exposed onto the surface through another process which pushed them onto the surface. But initially, these domes were inside. But within the Earth's interior, there are processes which is folding. It started pushing up, and the mountains which were there went up, and they are now the blocks of land. The blocks of rocks which were inside were pushed up from within as they were expanding. They pushed up this one, and now it is exposed as highlands. There are very many, but they were formed within the Earth's interior. Do you understand? They were formed within the Earth's interior, but later on they were pushed up by those vertical convective currents. We have horizontal and vertical. So they pushed what was inside. Now it is exposed onto the surface to form the Ethiopian Highlands. I think that those are the ones. And now we can go to, you read more about these ones. We can go to the next one, which is nearer to this, and that is a plateau. Africa, when you look at it, when you draw a line like this, when you draw a line like this, broken, that whole part which you have left inside is a plateau. A plateau is not flat as such, but it is a very large landmass which was pushed up by those convective currents. So you find that most of Africa, this central large part here, is a result of forces pushing billions of tons of Sahara. You remember Sahara and Sima? Sima, not the name of the person. We said that we have two types of material making up the rocks within the Earth's interior. One is Sahara. Don't call it sand. Sahara, and then the other one is Sima. Not your friend, but these are materials which are making up the rocks within the Earth's interior. And they are saying that this one is lighter than this one. And in most cases, this one sits over this one. You know very well. You can't have a very light girl in your class on top, and then there's the fat one or down, and the fat one is on top. Always the fat one down, even if it means walking. They walk slowly, everything. But these ones are very light, they shift and go. So this material, whenever there is a problem, these ones are very easy to transport. These ones they take time. So they are saying that this huge mix of Sahara and Sima, when it is pushed, this one is pushed further, this one will be at the bottom until when the thing has risen up to here and the convective currents are now moving slowly within the Earth's interior. And they are saying, if you were to draw a cross section, maybe between this point and this point, if you were to draw a cross section between A and B, you will find that lower A will be here at a lower level, and then you start from here. You are drawing a cross section. I think you can see here. You can see. We are drawing a cross section between this point and this point. Here, maybe we have a mountain here. That mountain we are not going to forget, or we can put there, we say this one is a Rift Valley, or we can put there depression. So you will find that at this point, you are at a lower altitude. As one reaches this point, it will rise, and then it will continue. As somebody reaches here, it will fall, and then it becomes a bit flat, and then it will fall further because this one is very low, a lowland area. And as you reach the coast, you have another very low state. So the cross section between point A and B, you have a lowland area, you have a plateau in between, including the East African plateau, the one we have part of it in Uganda, and then you will go. On reaching here, you will find that this is a low land area. This one is a low land area up to here. And then you continue with the low land area up to here, somewhere here. bordering the sea. It is a low land area. And it is a very big part also. So this one, when it was pushed up, this one remained down. But what happened? This continent, Africa, is bordered is served, or it is drained by oceanic currents. Those oceanic currents keep on reducing, eroding the coastal part here. They are very strong from here, and they are very, very strong from here. Here we have the Atlantic, here we have what? What do we have here? Which oceanic currents are here?
Indian Ocean.
Indian Ocean.
Very good. This here we have the Indian Ocean. It is eroding part of a continent which is at a higher level, meaning that it is going to create a lowland area on this side. And then here from the Antarctica also, we have currents which are moving towards the Africa. And then when you look at this side, you have the Atlantic Ocean. Do you understand? They are moving towards Africa everywhere. So they are the ones which are increasing the size or the lowness or the height of the coastal parts of Africa. And when you look at this one, we don't have a lowland area here. We have this lake, this ocean, the Red Sea. It is within a crack, within a faulted area. It is at a low level, and it doesn't have outlets here. The water is just moving parallel to the coast of this small lake here. When you look at this part, we don't have, when you look at this part, there is no lowland area. Why? Because we have ocean currents which are moving. Okay? They are moving in that direction, almost parallel to the coast of Africa. They are parallel to the coast of Africa. And that means that they have little or no effect as far as this coast is concerned. So this one remains a bit high as compared to these areas. These ones are low land areas because their altitude was reduced by the oncoming strong ocean currents or waves. They erode and lower the level. Do you understand? And you have to know that when you are to look at the level, when you are talking about altitude, height above sea level, normally those areas which are along the coast, they start from zero. And you'll find that when you are dealing with your climate of Africa, or when you were dealing with the climate of East Africa, you discovered that at lower altitude, that's where the temperature is high. So we expect low altitudes here. When you go to Mombasa, for example, we said that it has some of the hottest thing we have. And when you go to other places which are low, also here, we have the temperatures are slightly higher as compared. But when we looked at this one, when you look at this one, these are called ocean currents. And they are moving parallel to the coast. So they are not lowering the altitude. They are not affecting the altitude because they are not oncoming. You scoop out pieces of rocks and so on and deposit them there and reduce the height. Are we there? At least this is the second time we are dealing with Africa. Now we have, if you are very, very serious, Africa is now trying to come in your head. But you are not supposed to cram, you are supposed to understand. The minute you understand geography, it will not be a problem to you. You always get your 24 out of 25. And in UNEP, they give those marks. But for us, sometimes we don't satisfy us. You wait to satisfy UNEP. That's why we give you something like a 20. You will see. If you understand it properly, do the work which you are supposed to do properly, If I'm to understand this, I must know how it looks like. I must know the geography of it. I must know this. And when it comes to maybe other projects which are connected to that, I'll be able to know. So we are there. What we are remaining with, we have a plateau. This thing here is a raised land. This one is fairly low, especially along the coast, due to oncoming oceanic currents. That one is okay. So we have this plateau, which remain up there, because the whole thing was pushed up as a continent. But now the sites are being affected by the ocean currents. The remaining part is up there. It is called a Plutonic Island or a Plutonic. We call it Plutonic. It is in form of a plateau, but we call it a Plutonic thing. We understand this one here. It remained high, higher than this one, but it's not higher than the mountains and some of the hills we have. But the mountains might be on top of that highland area. So that one was due to crustal upwarping. The upwarping means like lifting, pushing it up. There is downwarping and there is the upwarping. What is downwarped and what is upwarped? The crustal part, the solid part of the earth. We have the solid part. You remember very well, people. We have. For me, I'm teaching here and there because I know you are okay. Remember the layers of the earth, people. We said that this is the crust. Can you see? I'm writing here. The crustal, this is the crust. That is what we say. When you revisit, when they talk about crust, don't get confused. Crust, this is the crust, not with the eye. That one we don't talk about him or her like that. This is crust with you. The crust, we have the mantle. You remember now what is coming in your head? We have the mantle. You still remember? And then we say you have the core.
The core.
This is the core of the earth. This is the core of the earth. So when they talk about crustal uplift, the whole thing was put up. Do you understand? After faulting had taken place, a whole big was lifted up. That is the one which resulted into the formation of the middle part of Africa. You will see that map. But when you check properly in that atlas, you will see the physical map of Africa. And normally they put yellow, then brown, then green somewhere, and so on. So you will look at that map and then you try to connect. We say this is the mantle, this is the crust, and we say the core. This is the core, but we have to have the upper part and the lower part. And we say this, the crustal one is solid. Isn't that what we say? That this part is solid. You know the meaning of the word solid in physics or whatever. It is solid, rocks which are solid. That is the crust. And we say the mantle is muchuzi mix. It is like that those people who can make a chapati. You know that dough you make? Do you cook, you people who are listening?
Yes. Yes.
So when you are going to cook chapati, in case you have ever, or you have seen, when you are going to prepare chapati, you have something like a dough, that dough. Okay? But I'm not saying that you get confused. You don't get confused. This one is in that dough form, semi-solid, semi-liquid. But this one, these rocks here, they are in liquid form. Pure liquid form. These ones are in we call them semi-plastic. Then these ones are solid. These ones are solid. So when there is crustal pushing up, you always result into a plateau. So when the things were taking place, horizontal, fracturing and doing what? The middle part of Africa was uplifted. Only like this, you push the whole thing up. So this one remained a plateau in the central part of Africa. The central part of Africa, they are parted. You may find that there is a lowland area somewhere, but generally when you look at it, it is a plateau. Remember, we have the East African plateau, which is a flat land area. And the rocks on top are hard rocks, which were there initially. Why? Because they were pushed up to form a plateau. And when you look at it properly, you will find that they have those ones which are high. Here we have the BA plateau, and we have that one, the northern plateau up there. They are very high up, but generally, they are also part of the African plateau. You get, this one is slightly higher. Then what else? You have the plateau here, and then you have this one here. Because it is near the coast, it remained unique, the BA plateau. And then we have also the Josi plateau. Josi, you will check and see. We have Josi plateau also went up so much. And this one remained at a higher level. And when they say at a higher level, it is high, not saying that it is as high as maybe this room where we are. It is at a higher level, meters high. Meters high, or kilometers high up there. So generally, when you look at Africa, those are the major features we have. We have the coastal features that you know how they are formed by wave action on either side. We have the plateau, the central plateau. That one was pushed. We have the fold mountains. Those ones were due to convective movement within the Earth's interior, whereby synclines and anticlines were formed, and so on. Then we have volcanic mountains. We have Tibet there, we have Cameroon somewhere, we have Haga, and so on. And then the last one is the Sahara area, which is made up of undulating plains. And those ones are mainly formed because of the strong winds, which are sweeping off billions of tons of sand. This area is made out of sand, these ones. The whole area here is undulating plain with the almost leveled, but at a higher level, almost leveled like these ones, because they were all uplifted, but this one is slightly high, and it is bare, and it is almost flat. And you know, in geography or other terms, when they say almost, you may find that it is very many meters up there, but they say that area is almost flat. Almost flat does not mean that you have zero altitude, that you don't have anything to do with the height. They might be high up there, but they are all, the area, the land is almost flat according to them. And you will find that this area is flat mainly because of erosion. Strong wind erosion. Is the one which reduced this one to an almost flat land area. The Sahara is almost flat, but in Jogo they say it's a flat land area. And the effect is a result of strong winds, which are eroding the surface. There's no vegetation cover. We will discover that one when we are dealing with the vegetation of Africa. There is no vegetation cover. The climate is not favorable. The temperatures are very high. No vegetation cover. The rocks are exposed to the direct heating of the sun. And then they will break. Exfoliation will take place, they will break. And whatever is there will be swept flat, will be swept from the surface, leaving this a flat land area. And the cause of this is mainly climatic conditions and vegetation cover. There's no vegetation cover in the desert. But when they say there's no vegetation cover in the desert, it does not mean you can't see anything to do with the vegetation. There are those trees. You may find one tree here, another one maybe somewhere at my place there, or down in lower estate, or in Chambogo, trees which can resist erosion with very tiny leaves. You are unfortunate that we are not going to Western Uganda. You would have seen that type. They are very small, they have very small leaves, and they have a very thick bark. A very thick bark. You find that a stick. This one I think you are finished. You find a tree like this, the power of the trees like this. That is the inner part. Then it has an out thing out here, which is protecting. This is a thick bark. The tree is this one. This is the bark from here to there. This is the bark from there to there. The thing is inside. Because of fear to lose a lot of heat, it has this slippery, silver-like, whatever. I'm sure you do understand. When you come here, I will show you the sample. It has this bark, very thick bark. This one is called a bark. What is the spelling? I don't know. I don't know whether it is that one, but it is that one. Here is the tree. It has very long leaf, whatever. Still with it, a very thick bark. The tree is inside there. Is protected by this very thick bark. Then on top of that, it has tiny leaves. It has tiny leaves to avoid losing water, any drop of water which is received. And you remember we said it can, that area, this area, we will look at the climate of Africa. Generally, they are doing with general whatever, but they are going to pick one area and you do the human geography of that area, or you do the physical geography of that area. And under physical, you have the relief and you have also drainage. Drainage is taken as part of physical geography of an area. So we will divide. You can't teach the whole from here, tip from here to here. No. And they can't set questions from top, tip to tip. We will pick one or two countries here to represent, and then we will pick one country here, and then we will pick one country there. When we are dealing with the human geography, we are not going to cover everything as far as Africa is concerned. We will have a sample study of whatever is there in the syllabus, and then we continue. Because we know we have finished this part, we are okay. Now this one, we will have to get other examples. So we are saying that this one will lose very little. The little which will be received It can be received after 2-3 years. It is not like us who can receive in the morning, in the evening, here at night, no. Or you can receive this week and then next month you receive, no. For them, they can take a whole year without seeing a single drop. And when we are looking at climate of those characteristics of those climates, you will see that those ones are suffering. And when they receive, it does not last for a whole week. It will last for an hour or less than an hour. That will be the end. And rainfall will be recorded within those areas. We will see what is happening and why they have just sand covering the whole place. So that is what we have. This area is characterized by those, but all a flat land area. If the winds are very strong, they blow the trees and they die. They can bury even the animals, even the camels. They are the only ones which can survive there. And they are the ones they use anything to do with the transport, they use camels. For you, when you are walking, even the tourist, maybe Badanga who used to exist, even the tourist person in school here, you have the tourist person in the senior one. Even if when she is there, she can be buried within seconds and you not see her. And for them, even to get water is a problem. We will see how what is happening. It is also a problem for them to get water. So those are the physical ones. But when we are talking about the map, the physical map of Africa, you must name. And whenever we are drawing our map, we don't forget this. They count it as part of Africa. This island, although it has a name, but when we are dealing with the climate of this one, they will even include that one. And you will find that you have also here a relief feature, which is a desert. We have a desert here. What is the name of this desert here?
Namib Desert.
Namib Desert. And this one, the problem, the one which is connected to the characteristic, this is a hot desert. But this one is a cool desert. The conditions which are there are the same as which are here. On the landscape, what, flat and so on. But it is only the temperature. Here, the temperatures are slightly low, and here the temperatures are very high. But both of them are deserts. You understand? This one is mainly a result of the cool Bangwera currents. They are blowing almost parallel to the coast. Like these ones also, the Canaries, don't forget these are Canaries. These are Canaries, Oceanic Currents, the name of these are Canaries. This one is Bangwera Currents. Bangwera Currents. These ones are moving almost parallel to the whatever. So they are the ones which are resulting into the Namib Desert. They don't receive a lot of rainfall, but their temperatures are low. That's why they call them the cold desert. This one is a hot desert. You understand? And when it comes to economic activities, you will find that very few, very few hours or lessons will be allocated for you to study the whole of Northeast Africa, because it is a desert. And you'll find that the physical one here, you have sandy dunes or bachans. You have sandy dunes or bachans. When you stand like here, you can see something up to where you get it, and you have those dunes. hills, but they are called dunes because they have a shape like this. And then here there is no, there is whatever they deposit, then another one. There are very many. When you go there, you may get to whatever. When we are going to Alexandria, the man lowered the plane, but you could see things as if they were designed to be there. And they were telling us, do you see those whatever sandy dunes? We are not seeing. We thought that they were things which were constructed by man. Until when the man went almost down, that's when we saw them. That we were looking for the people, the houses, there are no houses. The only thing we saw also from up are the black thing. And those black things, when you are in planes, you don't see blue, that this is water. That's where we saw those what? Oasis. And you could see the whatever, the animals, but of course the toe, but you could see them moving. And those people know how to halt the plane, and then you see what is happening. It is very, very okay. We managed to pass here and went to Alexandria up there where we have to see the pyramids and whatever. Do you still remember pyramids? Who stayed in the pyramids? Eh? Who stayed in the pyramids?
Egyptian.
The pharaohs.
The pyramids in Egypt.
In Egypt. Who stayed? Eh?
Dead Egyptian.
Yes, dead people. They bury people.
We
in the
had
pyramids.
that.
Not people. There are dead bodies there.
Mummies.
The
dead bodies of the pharaohs.
The pharaohs is their wealth.
You are talking about pharaohs. Those ones are halal. Yes, are not written like this, that pharaohs were they.
Hjt, pharaohs, not fellows. Pharaohs, not fellows.
That pharaoh with PH.
Yes, it is like this.
Actually, I say pharaohs, not pharaohs.
He said fellows. I had the fellows. Hey, I got you. I had the fellows in me. I started writing fellows, not fellows or pharaohs. They are the ones. But do you believe in that? Do you believe in those pharaohs?
No. Yes.
Yes.
They are there.
Yes.
They are not
Yes.
there. Now
Yes.
they are the bones. I don't know whether they are turned into rocks.
Wrapped in bandages.
You know, bones turn into rocks. Hey. Yes. These pyramids are burial places for, like, it's like a cemetery. They used to bury those people there. Hey, the leaders of Christianity or what? But they were associated with the religion. It wasn't it?
Just leaders in their countries.
They were associated with the religion, wasn't it?
They were associated.
Yes. That's why I believe in them. You do believe in them also?
We don't believe in them.
Eh?
Yes.
Okay. But that is, let us hope that we are not doing the wrong thing, because they say we don't believe in it and godly thing. So that we can take it. Anybody with a question? Anybody with a question about the relief of Africa? The Kalahari Desert is a cool one. It is here. The effect is Somebody was asking, what about this Kalahari? Its effect is here because of the cool ocean currents, which are blowing almost parallel. But these deserts are at a lower level. They are not high at a higher level. Why? Because a lot of erosion is taking place by the strong desert winds. So they are at a low altitude as compared to the neighboring, because we said this is a plateau, it's a raised ground. These parts, these are coastal areas, they are a bit low. And these areas, other areas are low, higher than these ones. Why? Because this area has been subjected to a lot of windy erosion due to absence of permanent water body, apart from the Nile. And when it reaches here, you see it is almost straight. Check and see that Nile, when it is passing through there, it is almost straight. It is not meandering. It is straight, and it only distributes itself here to form that Nile Delta. But when it reaches here, it has no tributary. And the tributary which it has is from Ethiopian Highland down here before it crosses there. And all of these other rivers will see, there are rivers here, and there is a Mediterranean Sea up there. But this part has no coordinated drainage system in it, apart from the oases. Oases are man-made. Sometimes they are lucky, when the wind is blowing, it can scoop so deep down, and then they end up reaching the water table. But you'll find that these areas don't receive rainfall. And when they receive rainfall, it is short-lived. 5 minutes, it has stopped. But it has done a lot of harm. It has swept all of the sand which was unconsolidated. It has exposed a bare rock, which will be directly heated by the sun because there is no cloud cover within a desert. You never see colors like rosy gray colors, whatever. It is white up there and very far high up there. There is only dust in the atmosphere. Do you understand? Yes. Anybody with a question? Anybody with a question?
What is the water table?
A water table is when water seeps deep down, it reaches a hard rock. And when it reaches that hard rock, it is supposed to stop there. It stops there. That is the water table. You have water. This way. People will take geography, some paper where you have what you want. Just revise. After 2 days, revise it. After 2 days, revise it. Because if you are to be anything you have for, it's not on a silver platter. You have to satisfy us. And they might say average, meaning that you are not going to get below 65 or 70 to be promoted. Now, why don't you pick this one with your 80? Even you maybe not very well, I will get my 80. I can get the 2 numbers from the rest of Africa. I will get my number from there. I will get my number from North America. Then East Africa, I have to do very many objective questions because we finished East Africa. Whatever is remaining, you can handle, but you have finished. We are saying, she was asking about the water table. we have layers of rocks on top. On the top here. That this is the last part, whereby you have a hardy rock. You have a hardy rock here. Here you have a hardy rock here. So when it rains, water seeps through these ones, it seeps through those ones and land here. These are layers on top and land here. The rocks here, we said they are in liquid form, the water lands here also. And that is what is taken. And it is kept down here. So when in the deserts, we are saying that it keeps on eroding. You see, it keeps on eroding. So this part is not there. The true layers of the earth is not there within the desert. Because this part, which is made up of unconsolidated particles, is bare. The wind has already removed them. Then it has gone to the next layer. Imagine that this one was semi-hard. It will also be eroded very fast. And in the end, it can scoop up to the water table. The wind can scoop up to the water table. And when it reaches the water table here, you will have water. But it will not reach here, be here, and then after 5 meters, it will reach the water table. No, it can be here for people who know Nabisunsa, and then the next water table might be in Mukono. Or it may be after town, after Kampala, they are in Natete. That may be the water table. But there are people who are surviving there. So if they need water, they have to send, to put the things and go to that oasis to collect water. You understand? Those don't, they are what? Those animals with the humps on the top. Camels. Those camels are educated, more educated.
Camels.
Yeah, because they go, those camels, they go up to Mukono. They know where Mukono is. And for you may be here and you don't know Mukono. They go up to Mukono, they lower, they get water, and then they come back with water. In the bucket or in the drum or 2 drums. What it does is they told us they go move into that oasis, crossed. Meanwhile, the what? The tank, these tanks or these containers are getting filled up, and then they walk back. But they don't know they can walk back and come back with just 2 drops, few liters of water. For them, they are fulfilled their duty. They have gone for water. But those people, they have tried, they say, they have tried to stay around the oasis and suffer the consequences. You understand? But when you look at them, if you study their agriculture, by the time you study their agriculture, they are carrying out agriculture. They are suffering for water. But for us in Uganda, we eat those citrus fruits from there. And they are very sweet. When they suffer to get water, for us, we have water everywhere. We have water everywhere, but for us, we are very little. We can't even utilize. The soils are very fertile. Everything, we can plant those ones, but we prefer buying them expensively, especially the oranges, the what, the grapes, and so on from out. So they even God created them and he gave them whatever Akiri to do what? To work and to use it to whatever, to be comfortable with that harsh condition which is existing within the desert. And when their grapes are brought here, are they grapes? Over dates. When they are brought to the board, everybody go and line up for them. Eh? And for us, when they told us to do whatever, to grow them, people, only very few people grew them in Kabale. That is where we have those whatever, the dates. And the others are in Wundibujo. Why? Because the condition is favorable. But when you open one near even Kampala, you can get them. But for them, they suffer. So this is the Oasis, and it is the only water point within the desert, apart from the Nile. And we said the Nile, when it is passing there, it is straight, because it is following a certain trench or fault area up to somewhere when it starts getting distributaries. Distributaries are the very many. You have a river flowing from down here, it is going those ends. Before it reaches its source, I mean its, this is the sources from where it is coming. Before it reaches its destination, you will find that it doesn't reach as one, the Nile. It reaches in many, whatever, through very many distributaries. These are called distributaries. It divides and subdivides into other minor tributaries, on reaching the Mediterranean Sea. It reaches like this, not as one river reaching its destination, like most of the rivers in Africa. But this one reaches in a delta form. And you will study about them, or you have studied about them, what causes the river to divide and subdivide before it reaches. And what you have to know, that when you draw your map of Africa, the northern part is lower than the southern. True or false? True. People, you left it.
True. We are here.
Why are we saying that it is true? Why are we saying that it is true? We have said Africa is lower in the north than in the south. What?
Because it's true.
Because it is what?
Rivers flow from the northern to the south.
Why are we saying that it is lower in the north as compared to the south?
Those rivers flow from the higher altitude, the lower altitude.
For her. Mama, when you come back and you come for your 10,000, you are who? Are you one of the Nabusagaruzi?
Yes.
Yes. You are who and you are in which class?
Abenato Area 92.
Abenato, you are in which class?
3 West.
Abenato, you are in which class?
West.
I'm in 3 West.
3 West what? 1 or 2?
1.
So I have to look for you, eh? You look for me for your 10,000. Yeah?
Okay, teacher.
I'm not telling you lies,
Yes,
Abenato.
teacher.
Yes, look for me, you tell me, here I am, the answer giver about the slope of Africa. She's saying that always rivers move from the highland area to the lowland area. And everybody will give you even 101%. And you are considering River Nile. River Nile has its source in East Africa and its mouth in Egypt. And we said a river doesn't climb a mountain. or a highland area. You understand? You understand? A river doesn't climb a hill. So whenever it is flowing, it is looking for a lower altitude, a lower level. And here you are, East Africa is this end, North Africa is that side. And that the source is this side, the mouth is that side, meaning that the land is sloping northward. Clap for her, I want to hear her, you clapping for her. Okay, thank you. But you have seen, you have seen how the answer is correct, haven't you?
Yes, Sajat. Yes, Sajat.
Yeah, geography is just understanding people. When you attend the classes, you understand. It will never get out of your whatever. And when they give you a river, let us not take Africa. If they give you a river in one place and they give you the source of the river, and the one end of the river and another end of that same river. If it is a map work number, they can ask you for the direction of flow of that river. So if you are to look for the direction of flow of that river, it has two ends on your map. It has two ends on your map. They have asked you for the direction of flow. You have a map already like this, in map one. Okay? Then they have contours here, they have contours, too many. And then others like that. Then all of a sudden, they put a river there. They assume that this is a river. Okay? Then they ask you, find the direction of the flow. Maybe they have said this one is Hjt.Mwajjuma. Find the direction of flow of Hjt.Mwajjuma. Have you seen Hjt.Mwajjuma? So what you have to do is to look for the contour value here. Don't get confused. You just look for the contour value. Imagine that the contour value is 1,100 meters of feet. Then you look for the last contour. Imagine that this one is from here. It is from here. The last contour it crosses is this one. And you find that this contour has contour is 1,500, maybe. You assume that this one is 1,500. The last contour where this river has a part, assume that it is here. It starts from there. So they ask you, what is the direction of flow of Hjt.Mwajjuma? Check, the contour here is this. So it means that it starts from here, isn't it? It starts from there because the last contour here is 1,100. The last contour is 1,500, meaning that this river is starting from here. It can't climb from down to up. So the direction of flow, you just put a compass where it starts from, and then you tell them that this river is flowing southwards. You understand that this river is flowing southwards. So that one, you don't forget your 10,000 when you come, your pocket money. That one is very correct. You have any other problem? Do you have any other problem as far as the relief of Africa is concerned, as far as the whatever general map is concerned? But what I'm begging you kindly, try to draw You say after every 2 days, I will draw the outline of Africa. And if on it, I will fit on the regions, the relief or the drainage. Because next time we are covering the drainage. You understand? And you know what drainage is. And we don't have a very big deal as far as Africa is concerned. Because most of those whatever are there. When you look at the drainage features in Africa, we talk about the outer part, which are the oceans. We'll talk about few rivers there. And then we talk about the Congo Basin. The river is there, one river, that is the Niger River. And then we'll talk about the Oasis. And those are not a big deal. And then we'll talk about the other part of the Nile. You understand? We just add on that it gets tributaries, blue and white Nile, or whatever from the Ethiopian Highlands. And it has a delta. And we look at how a delta is formed, and that is all. Do you understand?
What are the names of the currents?
Sorry?
Teacher,
Sorry?
what are the names of the currents?
The what?
The names of the currents.
The current? Which current? Ocean currents.
Like
And we have the canal.
both of them, the upper one and the lower.
Let me draw vaguely the ocean currents. I don't know whether I can produce the map again. No, also, I'm not a very good cartographer. North, home, east, something like that. Okay. We have ocean currents here. These are called ocean currents. They are like winds. And those winds, when they hit the surface, they form those waves. But the whole thing is what they call ocean currents. Choose a mix of the wind which is blowing and whatever it creates on the surface. So here we have canaries. These are called canaries. Those are in there. They're called the ocean currents. We have the wall here. We have the warm currents, Jimmy, ocean currents. We have the cool, the well. You remember we said they are blowing parallel. These ones are blowing onto. You understand? These ones are blowing onto, so they have an effect as far as climate are concerned. These ones are cool. These ones are warm. These are cool. Then we have these ones. What are these ones? Mozambique. We have ocean currents there. And then we have the Indian ocean currents. They are there. These are warm. These are warm. These are cool. These are warm. These are warm. There we have the Indian Ocean. I mean the Mediterranean Sea there. But it is protected by that continent, which is Asia, Eurasia there. We have Eurasia up there. This is Mediterranean Sea. These are the major ocean currents we have. When they are blowing parallel to the coast, then they are making or lowering the altitude or the level of the land adjacent to the sea. When you look at the map itself, you will see that we have lowland areas. Here we have even the Congo basin. So we didn't even mention basins, but we have basins. Have the Congo. Sorry? Western. They are here. Sometimes they put them there because they don't have direction. There are some winds which don't have permanent directions. Sometimes they call these ones the genie, whatever, oceanic currents, warm. Warm, these ones, they call them westerlies. And there are some, the monsoons, but those are winds. But they say they affect this Red Sea. They affect the Red Sea. But the Red Sea has red water. Don't think that we don't have red water. But it's not as red as this one, this color. It is like a sandy whatever. The color of sand or brownish. It is Mwajjuma. Time, it is not like a red, like blood or like a red color, but it is like that water within that one. And the same applies to the what? To the, which one now? To Orange River. That Orange River has orange water. That one I saw. I went there and I took even a photograph. The water is orange, but people come, people use that water. Is there? Yes. I think if you don't have an alternative. It has water,
orange.
It depends on the rock over which that water passes. So within that part of that river, the rocks are, they have that color. But everything was whatever generally pushed on surface by volcanicity. So some have, but the water is normal water, but the color is yellow. It is not acidic, it is not what. They use it. And even people from outside, whites, they come and just camp there. Not there only because the river is moving. It's a long river, orange river. And the people go there. For us, we went there, but we saw the color is red. The color is red. I mean, it is orange. That orange river. And even the Red Sea, the water is red. When we are going to Mecca, we at least the man lowered the plane. And we saw it is red. And then they connect it to the biblical party that Moses was taking people from Egypt to Israel, and then they drowned, and that is their blood. When water is moving, maybe, I don't know. So, okay, see you later. See you on Tuesday next week.
See you too.
That is it. We started. That is it. It is needed there. I don't know. Maybe we'll compensate another day.
Yay.
I wish you success in your.
Same to you, madam.
Madine.
Yeah.
Hi. Madina.
Yeah. I'm in. Okay, bye.
Hi, teacher.
Bye.